There we go. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino? Now you're muted. This is great. No, don't hear you. But while Casino figures that out, we are here today to talk about a insane divisional round, some good matchups, who we think's going to win, who we think's going to lose. We'll talk some coaching changes as well, and maybe some college football if we can get into it. But how's everybody doing today on this beautiful Wednesday where Casino is still, he left and now he's coming back. So yeah, we are here. Let's first talk, you know what, because Casino's not here, let's first talk about the best news maybe of all time, which is that the Eagles fired their offensive coordinator. Eagles fans rejoice. Wilbur Nola, welcome back. And he also says, greetings from New Orleans. And what is it? He says, I see you have the GOAT poster behind you. So actually, thank you, Nola, for setting this up. This will be the second episode. Monday's episode will be the first where you can actually watch the video podcast and listen to it as well on Spotify. You could always listen to it on Spotify, but now we are adding video to Spotify as well. So you can watch us on video on Spotify. So go check that out. But yeah, this is, as people who have longtime listeners of this show, the best computer in the house is in my son's room. So this is my son's room. He has a poster of Michael Jordan behind us. And if you're on Spotify, now you can switch between video and audio to watch this show. So if you're on Spotify, check that out. Saints thank the Eagles for Kellen Moore. Yeah, I would have loved, I really do think if they had Kellen Moore this year, I'm not saying I guarantee a repeat or anything insane like that, but they get a hell of a lot closer than they did this year, which was that awful losing to the 49ers in the first round. But them losing to the 49ers in the first round led to the firing of Kevin Petula. And so now it is being reported, again, it's being reported by Rossini, who is, I think, just one of the least reliable NFL reporters in the league, that there's obviously a lot of interest in that Eagles OC job because, I mean, like Wilbur from Nola said, if you basically are the Eagles OC coach, you just almost automatically get offered a head coach job within 1 year of you working for that organization. I don't know why that happens.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, here's Casino.
Woo.
I don't know why that happens with every Eagles offensive coordinator, that the second you have one good season, you immediately get a head coaching job. But the report now, Casino, as of an hour ago, is that Mike McDaniel and Brian Daboll are the two leading candidates to fill the Eagles OC vacancy. So we'll see if that happens.
And you know, Mike going there, I'm fine with that. You know, I don't think the head coaching was for him. I just don't.
No,
he was too soft of a head coach. And, you know, I say that in the nicest way. I like the guy. His energy's fun, but that's a coordinator's job. You need to have a head coach that can kind of reel people in when they need to. And I don't think he could. That's why that Miami team was just always in disarray. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this. What is it? When your Patriots hired Mike Vrabel, is you kind of need a head coach that feels like he could just beat the shit out of any of his players if they don't stop, like if they don't listen to him. Like 100%. You kind of want that threat. And Mike McDaniel, I mean, I think he'd have a hard time beating us up. And again, he's an NFL head coach. But also, great point. Wilbur Nola says, to be fair, Moore had success in Dallas and San Diego. Did you know I say this is a great point because I wanted to bring this up. Did you know that that Justin Herbert had two coordinators that Jalen Hurts took both of those coordinators to a Super Bowl with?
Yeah. So that's why I mentioned last episode, like breaking news, Justin Herbert got another coordinator fired. Like he's just getting everybody fired, man. At some point, you got to look within. It's on you, man.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
that really throws a monkey wrench in the whole what is it, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts narrative. Again, same offensive coordinators, one runner MVP up if he was going to MVP that one season if he didn't get hurt. And then Justin Herbert again on his fifth one. Jalen Hurts on his, I think, ninth coordinator in 9 years, but we're not here to talk about that, Casito. I just wanted to find a way to fit that into the show, and you not being able to talk made that the perfect segue. So we are here today to talk about teams that are actually still in the playoffs for the divisional round. And you know what? We talked about my team. Let's talk about your team first, because I think that is probably my least interesting game. Obviously, we're not doing.
It's because it's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, well, I also just think it has maybe the two least interesting teams in the playoffs in it. No, I would say
no way.
I think the Patriots they're not. If you had to list the teams and the most interesting you find them to be going to the Super Bowl, take your team bias out of it, because obviously my Eagles would have been bottom of the list because it would have been a repeat champion. So I think I would have to go Bears. Bills would be the two most interesting because they haven't, obviously Bears haven't been there in a while. Bills haven't been there since the 90s. Probably Texans because they've never been there. And then
I'd agree. That defense is great. And it's fun to see, and defense win championships. You know, that would just solidify, even more that narrative. I push back on this. My bias aside, no, I'll give you my reason. My bias aside, I think it would be interesting to see the Pats go because you have Drake May, and he is fighting for that MVP. I know, it should be done by now, but it's not. It would be cool to see Stafford, May meet in the Super Bowl, and they still haven't given out the MVP. I think that would be fun.
Actually, that would that wrinkle
everybody, is myself included, being a Pats fan. Everybody's been super high on the Patriots, aka Drake May, more Drake May than the Patriots themselves. And everybody's pushing back about his easy schedule, all that. I understand, totally get it. But if he goes off and wins the Super Bowl, then everybody else has to just shut the fuck up, because then he did beat the good teams. Like, he finally did beat the good teams, because even people are saying this Texans team, oh, they just don't got an offense. I mean, we're saying it, even though their offense is, mid-pack. So I would push back, and I would say it would be interesting to see the Patriots get back because of Drake May, solely Drake May.
But see, I feel like, especially like football
MVP,
fans, man. Yeah, but football fans in our age range and older, like the Patriots have been to the Super Bowl so much that it doesn't make it interesting.
I totally agree. If Drake May wasn't on that MVP caliber for the season and fighting Stafford for that MVP, and we still think it's going because that's how they do it. And that's what makes it interesting. If he wasn't fighting for an MVP, the Patriots back in the Super Bowl, even though I would be elated, is not interesting. It's just the Pats back in the Super Bowl. But Drake May fighting for the MVP still, that's what I would take as interesting. Solely Drake May, not the rest of the team, not even Vrabel, Drake May.
Now, what is it? I correctly predicted the Super Bowl last year because I said the NFL is this
way off.
Well, this year we were way off. But we always say the Super Bowl is when it gets to, especially where it's either these two teams go to the championship game. There's always the team everybody wants to see because it's new, the team that's been there before, and then those teams end up going. That's exactly what happened last year. Exactly what I said would happen last year. So now looking at these teams, I really do think it's either Rams, Patriots, because again, we've seen that before, and everybody's going to be running the Bears. Everybody's going to be wanting. I think the Texans are gaining steam just because, again, it's a different team. I think that's where the interest with the Texans is. Now, I also think Bills Broncos is going to be two teams people want to see in there because, again, it's been a while. 49ers are the same as the Eagles. We've been there. We've seen that. We've seen them in two of the last, 4 or 5 Super Bowls. You can say the same with the Rams. And then Seahawks, they kind of have the Patriots thing, but obviously not the longevity. So I would say Bears Texans would be the most interesting just because it would be new. Same with like Bears Bills. Other than that,
Bears
I don't
Texans
know.
would be very interesting.
Just because it would be so unprecedented, like unpredictable. Like
Yeah,
who the hell would have picked that as the Super Bowl matchup?
that'd be very interesting.
Ugh. But also, we got some comments before we get into these games. Wilbur from NOLA says he beat the teams on the schedule. What else could May do? Yeah, no, that's been the whole thing.
Yeah, but now
Yeah,
you got to. I mean, yes, but you got to see what he does in the playoffs, right? The parity of this league this year has been just phenomenal. And good teams are beating or losing to bad teams, and bad teams are losing to good teams. I truly think even the ones that didn't make the playoffs, like the Falcons, the Bucks, teams like I know I just said two in the same division, but teams of that caliber that barely missed out, the Ravens, you could throw those teams in, and they were still beating all the teams that are still in the playoffs currently. So it was a really fun season, and I still don't know any of these teams that I'm looking at can go to the Super Bowl. The weakest of them all would probably be the Bears. Let me see here. The Bears, the Texans, because their offense I'm not too keen on. The Niners, just because they are so injury prone and losing Kittle. The Pats. So really it's Seahawks, Rams, Bills, Broncos, and even the Broncos I'm not too sure on. Like this is so wide open. I'm very excited for this year. Obviously I want my Pats to go, but whatever. I don't care. Any of these teams that are still in it, I'm pretty excited. I don't want the Rams, don't want the Niners. Besides that, I'll take any team out of the AFC. I truly do. I truly don't care.
yeah, I agree. And again, I feel like the rookies and the different quarterbacks on different teams make these teams spicier than if it was just, again,
Yeah.
I think bias aside, because obviously I'm not a 49ers fan because of the Eagles 49ers rivalry. If we got 49ers again, it would just feel like one of those things like we have all these new interesting teams and we're getting this team again. Like
But
this,
but it's a very new team. It is a very new team because half
I
of
mean,
their
that's
team
true.
is playing brand new, right? Right? All their starters are out. Warner,
Yeah.
I mean, you got Warner out, you got Bosa out, you have Kittle out now. Like they're
You
just
have
beat the
a
shit.
you have a Patriots fan here that says Dags 1879 says let's go Pats. Wilbur says May's resume for the season is more impressive to me than Stafford, who has Puka and Adams. We've already had this debate. Casino agrees with you.
But
I'm
they're
still on the
also, I mean,
fence.
and I will, as a Pats fan, I will push back on that. And no matter how much I want Drake May to win, but the Rams, they were playing in the toughest division in football, right? They had the Niners, they had the Seahawks,
Yeah,
and
all
they had to
three
play
teams that made the playoffs are in the divisional
and
round.
are
Like
still
that's
in the. That's
yeah,
nuts, right?
that's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, I do disagree with that. I know the Patriots and they have a better record against common opponents. I get that, but the Rams and Stafford, they did have to play two of the hardest teams that are still in the playoffs currently. So,
Yeah. Falcons beat the Rams in regular season to prove your point, was also said by Dags 1879. I mean, that's true. You can only beat who's on your schedule. And then SDM News Network says, like to see either the 49ers against either the Bills or Patriots. I honestly, again, I think 49ers would be the least interesting team to make it. Because again,
out
there,
of the
done
AFC, I don't like the Broncos. I don't like Sean Payton. So nothing against the Broncos themselves, or Bo Nix. I mean, that would be cool to see a rookie go and have a good chance at winning the Super Bowl. But the other three teams totally be fine.
Well,
If
Bo
they made
Nix
the
isn't a
Super Bowl.
rookie. He's in his second year, buddy.
That's a second-year rookie. He's still got a rookie contract. Shut up.
I mean, last two, and then we'll move on. Saints swept the Panthers are in the playoffs. Makes us Saints fan wonder who could have been if Shuck played the entire season. And I'd say most fans outside of KC are just happy Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. Yeah, we did a whole video montage that if I still had, I'd play when they
go back and look at them. Will does a great job over here at. And see, I'm using your name.
Thank you so much.
We're working on that. We're working on that.
Also,
he's really good at posting and labeling, so feel free to go back and find our old episodes about all that. We go in depth.
The playoffs. But yeah. So let's move on without further ado, Casino, to the divisional round games. We're just going to go in order because you can make a case all these games are going to be good, just like Wild Card Weekend, all one-score games. I would be shocked if any of these were a blowout. Maybe outside of like Seattle, San Francisco, but then there's the Darnold aspect of that. You don't know what's going to happen. So I would be shocked if any of these games were blowouts or not close. First up, maybe the most interesting game they're giving us first, which is the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Denver Broncos. Does Josh Allen have enough Superman left in him to get to the AFC Championship game, Casino?
I think so. I think so. And it's just because he could see the path now. He is playing against and yes, year 2 rookie quarterback, a sophomore year quarterback. And I think he's going to get it done. There's nobody else. Yes, you have Drake May, Bo Nix, and CJ Stroud. Why would he be scared of any of those quarterbacks? I mean, I know Drake May is having a really good year, but he knows he's been in the playoffs. Yes, he hasn't, got to the Super Bowl, but he knows what playoff football is. So I do think that he'll go Superman. I really do. He's gonna go into the Broncos and he's gonna put together a team or put together a game, and that team is gonna get destroyed. Sorry.
Well, see,
I'm a little scatterbrained today. I had a really tough day at the gym. The endorphins.
You go to the gym is what everybody's first question was.
No. Yes, I did. I did today once.
What is it? So when it comes to the Broncos, I think the only thing you can really hang your hat on with the Broncos, especially after how that first Bills and Jaguars game went, is Jags have a great defense. Broncos defense is better than the Jags, and they're number 1 in the league in total sacks. So they have 68 sacks, which is first in the league. And the way Josh Allen was just getting pummeled, like annihilated against that Jags team, really makes you question if in this game he's going to be able to not move the ball, but move the pocket and run around like he did in that Jaguars game. Because again, behind that line of scrimmage, this Broncos team, they get you down. Like, I don't see a scenario where they're doing the tush push and they're getting 30 or they're getting a 30-yard carry off a tush push because their line's getting such of a push up front. Like, that's not going to happen against this Broncos team. Especially, again, you can look at if you believe the bye helps teams, then this is going to be a well-rested Broncos team that is going to have, an extra week's worth of giddy up in their step to take on a Bills team again, where Josh Allen got the shit kicked out of him last week. Like, there was multiple times where he was holding his head, holding his arms, holding his leg. Like, that was again against a worse Jaguars defense.
Actually, I mean, yes, that is true. But also, as the season ended, the Patriots had the easiest schedule, right? The Broncos, they had the second easiest strength of schedule of a recap through week 1 and week 1 through 18. So maybe the Broncos looked so good because they were playing teams that were not so great. Like,
well, that's true. Well, I mean, and
that's the whole argument everybody's putting on the Pats, right? They're like, they were playing rookie quarterbacks and bad quarterbacks and this and that. Well, and there you go. The Broncos are number 2.
Well, no, and the Broncos haven't played a legitimate good game since they beat the Packers a month ago. So they got destroyed by the Jaguars. They were in like a rock fight hell game with the Chiefs on Christmas Day. That was against the Chiefs' third string guy who had never thrown a pass before in the NFL, I think prior to the game before that. So, and then they won 19-3 in that Chargers game. That was just ugly. Like, you can't go back and look at that Chargers Bronco game and be like, oh yeah, it was 19-3 and that's because the Broncos dominated it. Like, it wasn't that at all. Like, it was a rock fight that kind of just saw the Broncos pull away. But I don't know. Again, there were so many teams, and this is why I picked the Packers last week to beat the Bears. There were so many teams that just felt they were going into the playoffs with zero momentum, and Bears and Broncos were 1 and 2 for me in terms of teams that, just kind of limped into the finish line with just nothing to really hang your hat on. Again, the last month of the season, like, it was just, I don't know. So with this Broncos, I feel like the weirdest thing is everybody has been talking about Josh Allen being this big Superman. He has nobody to throw to. It's just him on that offense, everything. Their numbers between Josh Allen and Bo Nix almost identical. Josh Allen threw for 3,700 yards, had 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Bo Nix threw for 3,900 yards, had 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So he had one more interception. He threw 300 more yards, and he had a 5% less completion percentage. So again, we always give Josh Allen his flowers and kind of, downplay Bo Nix. Their numbers are identical. And again, it's also not like Bo Nix is a statue in the pocket. He can move. He is maybe the worst deep throwing quarterback in the league. But I mean, if he actually does a little bit more of the dink and dunk, I think this would be, a bigger recipe to success than overshooting down the field by 20 yards per throw.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you're a Patriots fan, which you are you more scared to see this Bills team or this Broncos team in a potential AFC championship?
So I'm less scared of the Broncos. However, having home field advantage and the Bills having to come back in there, could go into the Pats' favor, even though the Pats won on the road against them and lost at home against the Bills. And the Pats are currently undefeated on the road this year. So I'm really unsure on what I want. I truly am. Because I wasn't too scared of the Broncos this whole season. Their offense is pretty mediocre enough to where the Patriots defense can probably keep them to just right around 20 points. And I do trust Drake May and the scheming of McDaniels to put up points against good defenses. I know that they just played the Chargers and the Broncos have a better defense, but that I'm taking also into consideration that game that there was a lot of young players in that game. This is their first playoff game, etc. And you kind of got to take that all into consideration as well. So I'm really unsure. Because, again, they're undefeated on the road. And I think Broncos be easier, and playing the Bills for the third time, I'm just not quite sure.
Yeah, I don't. Again, if you're a Patriots fan, if you're a Texans fan, I feel like you would rather play the second-year quarterback who, again, is just playing. Even if he's playing at home, that doesn't guarantee success.
But here's the thing:
Josh Allen.
Does the moment get too big for Josh Allen? I mean, he's been there so many times, right? Just right there on the edge to get into the Super Bowl. Does that affect him, right? Is it the Lamar Jackson scenario where it's like, oh, I can do this. And, but he can't. So I don't know.
Well, I don't think
obviously the Pats got to get through the Texans first. But if the Pats beat the Texans, I'm just hoping that these two teams, the Broncos and the Bills, just kind of bang each other up and just go out there and just go, hey, look, a kneecap, and they both just like smash their kneecaps together, in not ruining their career or anything like that. But when you hit your kneecap like on a wall or something and it hurts like hell, I just want them to go out there and just like, hey, here's my patella. Bah! There you go. One of those things, or go stub each other's toes. You want them
limping into the next game, is what you're saying. Limping into the next game. But let's move on. So for that game,
I'm never for players getting hurt. I don't like that. I think the season's too long. Player safety. I'm pro player safety, but not in how the NFL is doing it. So yeah.
What is it? So for this game, are you picking the Broncos or the Bills?
Oh man, I know the Broncos are rested, but I think that's going to hurt them. I'm going to pick the Bills in this game. Denver is currently minus 1.5. I'm picking the Bills.
Yeah, I think again
what I just saw Josh Allen do, 28 for 35, one passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdown. He said, "I'm going to win this game." Like I got to go with Josh Allen until he just doesn't. I know your whole thing was like, I'm done with the Bills until they could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. You've been saying that for years. Guess what? The Chiefs are not in the playoffs. I'm back, and I went with you, right? Mm-hmm. I went with you that I'm done with the Bills until they can beat the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs aren't there. Now I'm back on that Bills train that they can get it done.
No, honestly, the best way to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs is to not have to play the Chiefs in the playoffs. So he is yeah, after what I saw from last week, again, I thought the Jaguars were the scariest team in the AFC and the Bills beat them. So now I can't pick against the Bills if I think they just beat the best team in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
by
I mean
that logic,
that game in Wild Card Weekend could have very well been, the most important game in the AFC, and whoever won that game was going to the Super Bowl, because
yeah.
I had the Jags. I had the Jags going.
I did too. Especially, I really talked myself into it like the last 3 weeks of the season where I was
because
just
Trevor Lawrence stopped turning over the football in key moments, and then he was just like, "Oh no, watch this, watch this,
yeah.
look what I can do."
Plus, again, like we went all over the numbers on Monday for Josh Allen in the playoffs. It's insane. His numbers are insane. Again,
He's potentially, outside of Brady, he's probably top 5 best, if not higher, best postseason quarterback to ever do it. I don't know the exact numbers.
His postseason numbers are better than Mahomes.
Yeah,
Mahomes
I'm sure
has
there's a
played more
stat out
playoff
there.
games than him.
I'm sure there's a stat out there, and a whole graph about who's the best postseason quarterbacks. I guarantee you, Josh Allen is in top 5. Guarantee.
Yeah,
just he's always been remarkable. His rest of his team needs to get it figured out.
Yeah,
it was so funny. So real quick, we're talking about this game. Listening to Colin, as I always do, he was talking about, he goes, this is a coaching matchup weekend, right? He was going through, he was like, McVay, Johnson, this is great. Then we've got
sorry, you got Casino dying.
Yep. And so he was just going through all the coaches, and then when he gets to the Bills Broncos, he goes, we got Sean Payton and Josh Allen. He did not give any credit to oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Thank you.
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott. And I thought that was really funny. He threw so much shade at Sean McDermott there, and I love every second of it.
So I was a little premature on Josh Allen being better than Mahomes. Mahomes is currently number 1, but that's because he's played 21 games and Josh Allen's played 14. But still, Josh Allen 26-4 in the playoffs, Mahomes 46-10. So I mean, by that same logic, he plays 7 more games? I mean, the numbers are going to be almost identical. So if he does the same pace he's going on. So yeah, that statement's not that crazy. But let's move on. We're both picking the Bills. We both believe in Josh Allen. My friend Justin is a huge Bills fan, so I know
I'm going to yell at him.
He was shitting bricks last week, and then he was like, I can't wait for our two teams to play in the Super Bowl. And then I was like, I agree. And then my game happened. So before we move on to the next game, let's get some comments in here. Wilbur Nola says, cool guys, dropped like and subscribe, stumbled upon you today. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Everybody else do the same, because we have a lot of people watching live right now. So wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, wherever, give us a like and a follow. Jason Winkler says, go Bears. We're going to be talking about that game in a second.
They're down.
Eric Hemdahl says Patriots will win the AFC championship. So
I mean, currently they are tied for the 3rd best odds to win the Super Bowl. So
and Mellows 712 says yes. I'm assuming to us picking the Bills to win over the Broncos. So next game, Casino, we are talking about your Patriots because we're going AFC and then NFC games. So for the Patriots, it is the Houston Texans traveling to Foxborough to take on your New England Patriots. Thoughts on this game? Also, kind of dirty of the NFL to have the Texans play on Monday and then they have to travel on the road first game on Sunday. That's kind of...
I was 100%. I was looking into seeing if somebody could cover my Sunday shift so I could watch the game.
Because you thought it was going to be Sunday night.
Yeah. So I didn't have to work. And I am very happy with this. I'm going to go hang out with my brother. It's a noon game. I don't start till 5. I'm very happy right now.
There you go.
Because then I can save that in the bank for whenever the Pats make the Super Bowl, and I could be like, yo, what's up? I've already got that all squared away. I got that squared away a month ago. Same with my buddy who's my 2 coworkers, the Seahawks fan and the Bears fan. Our issue is we're fighting over one person that can cover our shift. I think I said that before. So if it is Patriots Seahawks or Patriots Bears, we're fucked.
I will say the biggest credit I will ever have in my life to why we should have a sports podcast is when the Eagles played the Patriots the second time in 2017. Technically it was 2018, but my job would not let me they didn't put me, because obviously me and Casino are both bartenders. They put me, knowing I was a huge Eagles fan, super psyched for the game. They put me in the only bar without a TV. So I asked them about it. They said, no, we can't do anything. Schedule's already set, all this kind of stuff. So I quit. And then I just watched the Eagles game at the Eagles bar that I now go to all the time.
And it worked out because your team won and you cried. And
yeah. And if I would have been working during that, I would have never forgiven myself. And it's not like I quit I had another job. I was in the middle of me like trying to wrestle with the fact where I was like, can I make both jobs work? All this stuff. And then I was like, guess what? I only need one. And then I quit it. And yeah. So
and I was at my brother's house while I was living there at the time, and we had a little Super Bowl party, and I was throwing things at the wall, and that was fun. I've really calmed down as a sports fan. Having kids has really helped. I'll tell you that.
You know what? In that 2-week window,
I was so bad a sports fan. Like
in that 2-week window, we should go just through the history of us watching our teams in Super Bowl and just do a little history of us kind of thing in that 2 weeks where we just have to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. I'm going to write that down. That's a good idea. But the next game we're talking about, Texans Patriots. I know you got your team, Casino, so make the case for how the Texans win this game.
Man, how the Texans are going to win this game. That defense is going to have to stop the run, and they can. So that's what scares me a lot, because I do think Drake May, even if he's flushed out, even if he's sacked a whole bunch of times, he's going to have the composure. Like I said, he was 11 for 14 against the Chargers, and he was getting pressured and sacked like crazy in the second. And it's going to be that same sort of style game. The Texans and the Chargers defense are pretty similar, as you alluded to last week. And the other receivers are going to have to step up, because I don't know if Nico Collins is going to be able to get out of concussion protocol before the game. And the other ones will have to step up, because most likely the Patriots' number one corner, Christian Gonzalez, he will probably be out. He had a concussion, and it's very tough for players to have that 1 week turnaround. I'm sure both teams are probably trying to push them as quick as they can to get back and trying to find every loophole, which I don't agree with. Let the teams rest. I mean, let the players rest. Like, that's a concussion. Let them rest. Don't pull a Tua. So those other receivers are going to have to step up, especially if Christian Gonzalez is out and the Patriots only have Davis III. There's a possibility, meaning Stroud is going to have to throw the ball, and he can. And because I think the Patriots they're getting Tonga back most likely. And with Spillane back, Tonga back, and Milton Williams clogging up that center, I'm expecting them to be back to what they were in that first half of the season as one of the best run defense. And they were the best run defense in the league when all those guys are out on the field at the same time. So the Texans, CJ Stroud's going to have to throw the ball, especially with our top corner being out. That's what I'm seeing, because I really don't see them, even if they get to Drake May. I don't think that's going to be the issue. Drake May is still going to find ways with his feet. He's shown that he can do that. He can show the scramble. That's where the Texans win.
Well, the craziest thing about the Texans is, talk about a team flying under the radar. They are currently on a 10-game win streak, where the teams in that 10-game win streak they beat were the Steelers, the Chargers, the Bills, the Jaguars, and then they were in a 3-point. Their last loss was a 3-point fight against the Broncos. So it's not like this Texans team is bad. They started the season bad.
When I had that graph pulled up of what the strength of opponents were by the end of the season, the only other team that had a tougher schedule, wins and losses, against other teams, was the Rams. And besides that, then it was the Texans. They were the second that are the teams that are still left in, with playing the toughest schedule, going off of wins and losses for every team throughout the whole season. So Texans are good. The Texans are a real good team. So I am still picking my Pats. And mainly it has to do with the Texans having more players injured. The Pats only have 2 currently, and one should be coming back. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Feeling pretty good about this. I much rather have had the Texans or the Steelers than playing the Jags. I just thought the matchup was going to be a little better.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
No,
at.
I also
Low
think
scoring. This is crazy because it has New England -3 and the over-under is 40.5. I think it's low. That's I think that's high. It's going to be a lower scoring game than that, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, the Texans also, are tied with the Jaguars for second in turnover differential. So they are legitimately like the Bears, like some of these other teams you've talked about. But the difference is, unlike the Bears, their defense is actually good all around.
Yeah.
And then they're also good at forcing turnovers.
Yeah,
So,
I 100%. This is going to be a low scoring game.
yeah.
Very low scoring game. And I just trust Drake May more than I do CJ Stroud to make those important throws that you need to. I mean, that one that he threw to Hunter Henry, I thought was just an absolute dime. It was great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, we were so
it legitimately might come down again to one play. So last night I just watched the mic'd up. It was Vrabel and Drake May, and Vrabel the entire 14 minutes of that episode that they have of it. He's talking about it's going to come down to one play. It's going to come down to one play, and he knew that this was going to be a defensive battle, and it was whoever was going to get that one big play first was going to win that football game. So
yeah. No,
I think this is going to be the same exact way.
We were so focused on the AFC South on Daniel Jones and his reemergence for half the season, and then the kind of redemption tour that Trevor Lawrence went on. This might have just been a sneaky CJ Stroud kind of revival of what he was in his rookie year, when he was basically what Jaden Daniels was, and everybody was like, this is the next great quarterback. And then all of a sudden, injuries, that weird season where their offense didn't feel like it could move the ball at all. He's come back, and again, last week against a bad Steelers team, it's not like he did anything impressive, but what he did do was he completed 66% of his passes. He only got sacked 3 times. He just controlled that game, finished with a 90 quarterback rating. So again, much like with the Broncos, much like with the Seahawks, it's you just have to do just enough to where your defense can win you the game, or can stop the other team from winning the game. So I think, again, all the money, all the bets are going to go on the Patriots, but the Texans might be one of the most slept on teams. I mean, in the entire NFL, in all these playoffs, because every other team has fans, and I feel like I hear nothing about this Texans team. Daniel 9447 says go Texans. Yeah. So we already know who you're picking, Casino, but make it official. Who's winning, Texans versus Patriots?
Patriots.
You know what? I'll just do it to be different. I'll go Texans.
That's totally fine.
I'll pick Texans. I got some room to play
I'm
with.
Really excited. No, shut up. I'm really excited. For the rest of the postseason. I like all these teams and what they've been doing. I mean, let's go.
Also, to update everybody on the picks, me and Casino had 2 different games last week, and I won one of them. Casino won one of them. So we both tied with 4. So the points don't change at all. Casino is 7 games behind me. So this is where.
Well, didn't we start over? This is where we started over. We start over in the playoffs. That's how we've done it every year.
No, we've kept going. We just keep going. 7.
No, because you made a whole harp the first year. You were like, oh no, I beat you, or you beat me in the regular season. I beat you in the postseason. Ha ha ha! You're a loser. And people can hear you saying that, I'm sure.
I mean, that does sound like something I'd say.
That's our entire friendship. We just hang out.
And almost like he read my mind, it's now we're going to the 49ers Seahawks. And the first comment is, if 49ers beat Seahawks, the NFL is rigged. And that's from Devontae 1286. So the next game is
I just do not want to see the Niners go and play at home. I just don't want to see it.
Oh, that would be it would be cool. It would be cool if it was any other team. Like a team if it was
I
the
was I
Bears,
was
people
cheering
would be
for the
losing
Minnesota
their mind.
Vikings that year,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
That would
Yeah.
have been super cool.
No, wouldn't have because they would have had to beat my
Yeah, I know.
Eagles
And
in
then
the
my
NFC
Pats would actually
Championship.
probably had a chance to win that game.
Yeah. Also, what is it? Your friend, I did not realize this. So I've been doing a lot of digging, as I talked about at the beginning of the show, into Spotify, how to get our video up, looking at the numbers, all that kind of stuff. I did not know your one friend you always talk about, Victor.
Yep.
I think his name is. I did not know you always tell me he comments on stuff, and I'm always like, what is his username? I never see his comments. He comments on Spotify, which is a thing I just realized you could do. So when I went into Spotify and dug into it, I saw all of his comments there. So I will be replying to you because I see comments from literally like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm going to go back through and
this is going to
comment
make
all
him
of them.
very excited. Very excited
because I already saw some comments
the
from
show.
like
He's a really good friend of mine. He's in my Patriot chat. Known him for a very long time, ever since my brother was in college. That's when they met. That's when we all met. And he loves ragging on you, and
Yeah.
he knows that you can take it. First off, he knows that
Oh yeah, no.
you're
There
good
was
at
no
it and
comment
whatnot.
where I was like, "Oh my god!" Like there was comments where I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna argue with you."
Yes, he
Like-
wants it. He wants it. Like he is legitimately like, I can't. He wants to be on the show. He wants to be on the show. He wants to argue with you, and I think that would be really funny.
But also, when did Spotify start making
Apparently,
it able?
2 years ago when he started
I
commenting on our
never
videos.
realized that you could comment on Spotify podcasts. That's crazy. But yeah, so that's my bad. I literally didn't know that existed till 2 days ago.
Oh,
But
Victor,
yeah,
he's coming for you, buddy.
I will reply to your comments. Not all of them. There was only one comment where I was like, I'm going to argue with him.
Dude, he
about this. The other ones were
listens to
good.
this. He'll listen to the show, and then he'll legitimately just text me during the whole show, and I know what part he's listening to because every time he gets to that part, I'm like, yep, all right, there it is.
Yeah. So shout out that guy. He is a fan since day one. So
Yeah.
shout out to him.
He says he texts in texting. He's like, he sounds so salty talking about Ben Johnson.
Well, yeah, I'm not a Ben
Because I
Johnson
love
fan.
people calling him out in the comments. Like this is so great.
Again, Ben Johnson will wear on people the same way Nick Sirianni wore on people. I completely get the Nick Sirianni hate. The Ben Johnson hate is right around the corner. It's the same energy, same vibe.
He does go after me too. So
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't just a one-sided thing. There was comments about you too. I'll send them to you too.
You don't need to. He texted me about them. He was telling me, he was like, "What are you? Where was it? Burrow to, I think it was Burrow to the Falcons or whatever." He was like,
Yeah.
"That's a dumb comment. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're an idiot." I was just like, "Thanks, man."
I still think that happens.
Can't agree with Burrow to Atlanta.
I still think if it doesn't happen, that's a wasted opportunity. That is literally a perfect situation for him.
All right, so now we're going to get into that conversation. He makes a great point, like the draft picks and all that and all the cap. I get that, but look what happened, and this was my rebuttal. Look what happened with Denver. They just said, "All right, well, fuck it. We're still gonna do it. We're gonna just eat all this money and eat all this draft pick capital. Like we're screwed." But they got to figure it out. Sometimes you have to take a step back to figure it out.
Well, a better example of that is look what happened to the Rams. The Rams traded a shitload to get the one piece they needed, and then that piece took them to a Super Bowl, potentially this year, another Super Bowl.
It's the dead cap space and all that shit that they would have to take on.
Yeah. I mean, I again, you take the money out of it, and I think it's a good idea. I'm sure you throw the money in it, and it's just like, oh yeah, the Bengals aren't going to take a $200 million cap hit or whatever the hell it would be, but I still think it would work. So now let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. Number 1 seed Seahawks. The 49ers coming off that big shocking win yesterday. Also, shout out to everyone on TikTok, the 49ers fans, who I am just arguing with nonstop, and it is boosting that video to just insane numbers. So please keep it up because I keep going and people just stop.
And I just want to thank you for arguing with him. I truly thank you because it takes a little bit away from me, and I'm so okay with that. I don't need to argue with him every single day about everything, which I still do, but it's fine.
Well, the funny thing is, I have never been a person who argues online. Like I don't go on social media. I never
No.
argue with people. So that's my only outlet to argue with anybody who isn't you.
Yeah, because
So
when you
it's
and I
nice.
argue, we just call each other and we just start yelling at each other. Which, by
Yeah.
the way, just for all of our viewers, like our relationship, we go back a long time. We go back to like my first year of high school. He was a sophomore, and that's when we got to know each other real well. I have never argued with somebody more in my life. I've argued with or Will more than I am working on that more than I have argued with my brothers. Yes, and that is not an exaggeration. I guarantee you that is not an exaggeration. My
Yeah.
wife, I argue with this guy right here more than and like yelling at him about life things more than any other person. But that's why I don't want to do this show with anybody else because it just works because we can just hate each other as much as we want, but we're still going to be friends.
Yeah,
So
I have people at work who are literally like, they'll hear stories of like me like getting into it with a guest or like arguing with somebody, and they'll be like, "You did that?" And I'll just be like, "Oh, you guys don't know me like at all." And I mean, these are people I've worked with for like 4 years. Like, um, but now
all right, let's get into it.
let's talk about 49ers Seahawks. After that 49ers game against the Eagles, I actually feel like I have more confidence in the Seahawks team because for how bad that Eagles team played, that was a 4-point game with the Eagles kind of going down the field to score. So I feel like with how much shit was going on with the Eagles behind the scenes on that offensive coordinator, blah, 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 beating a dead horse talking about it. I honestly think this Seahawks defense will do what they did the last time these two teams played and just
13-3.
just kind of shut this team down. And then
They had Kittle then.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's going to be,
this is going to be bad.
yeah.
I said it last episode. This Seahawks team, they're one or two pieces away, maybe just even one, a massive piece away to being better than the Legion of Boom. This Seahawks defense is really good, and I think they're super underrated. I know they're rated really good, but they've been playing some really tough teams, and they've been taking care of business.
Yeah. No, their defense, what is it? Again, they're 5th in INTs. They're 7th in defensive sacks. They are, what is it, 7th in yards allowed per game. They are literally
overall defense, they're good.
Yeah, they're top 5 to top 10 to top 3 in every statistical defensive category. It's crazy.
They're -7.
And then you look at Darnold, and again, Purdy missed a bunch of games, so his numbers are kind of skewed. Darnold played the whole season, 4,050 yards, 68% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Now, again, he has a lot of fumbles because I believe he has 20 turnovers on the season, but this is a 49ers team that does not get turnovers. Their turnover differential is 25th in the league. They're -6, which means they give up more turnovers than they get back. So again, the embarrassing loss against the Eagles last week, it's embarrassing because of how bad this 49ers defense is. So with this 49ers defense, if you're going, well, the Seahawks offense is better because they scored the 3rd most points in the league. The 49ers only scored the 10th most points in the league. So already right there, you're saying at full capacity, this Seahawks offense has been better than this 49ers offense. Now you take into account how many injuries are on that 49ers side. You talk about Kittle, and then the Seahawks, it's night and day difference with the defense, where the Seahawks defense is miles and just infinitely better than what this 49ers defense is. So again, this isn't sour grapes for the 49ers last week. I just am trying to put on, what is it, my objective hat, and what is even the case for how this 49ers team beats this Seahawks team. Because again, the last time they beat them, I think was week 1. Like,
I mean, your only case is if the coaching staff can get it done. That's it. Is if this coaching staff can do what they've done all year and just be goddamn wizards out there and just like fucking doing their wand shit and just being like, no, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna choo. I don't know. Sorry, we started watching Harry Potter yesterday, so that was all in my mind.
Also, Richard Bennett 1856 says being passive aggressive with 49ers fans is all in fun. Oh no, I'm just being regular aggressive, not passive. Regular aggressive. He says this may get ugly. They are due for a blowout. Salah can only do so much with duct tape. Sam enjoys the negative motivation. See, so I honestly think the only wrinkle in this game that gives the 49ers a chance is, what do we get from Sam Darnold?
Yeah. And
Because
it's what we get from Sam Darnold against Robert Saleh's defense.
yeah,
And I know that and you're saying that the defense is not great, but he can be out there being a goddamn wizard. He whatever, he's out there as Snape and just doing his shit on the Quidditch match. Sorry.
Yeah, you're
I'm really
Harry Potter brained.
Dude, I watched two movies last night. So.
But no, you think of, I mean, what Solid did last week was just, hey, they're going to do verticals, so go guard that. It's not going to be that easy as it was last week.
No.
But again, also what the credit we have to give to the coach on the 49ers is what Kyle Shanahan does. I've been watching this on TikTok. This great guy, I wish I knew his handle so I could shout him out. It's like Film Watcher or something like that. I've been watching just his entire film breakdown of that game. Like the way the concepts make it so it looks like Christian McCaffrey's going to be in the flat on the right side, and he actually ends up on the flat on the left side where there's no defender there. Again, that worked really well against a Vic Fangio defense that was supposed to be, good. Now, the numbers for that Vic Fangio defense are nowhere near what they are for the Seahawks defense. And again, it's a divisional opponent that they just played, 2 weeks ago, and completely shut down McCaffrey. And again, now they have less options on offense. I just don't see a world where Purdy, puts the team on his back and all of a sudden is throwing for 300 yards.
He could do that, but he's going to throw for 2 interceptions, maybe 3 interceptions against his defense.
Well, yeah. And that's the other thing in the room, which is he threw 2 bad interceptions last week. So, and again, those were in double coverage, like no chance of, those weren't, ricochet passes like how the Seahawks lost to the Bucks. Those were legit bad interceptions. So you're telling me he's not going to do worse against a better defense with a better offense? Again, I think we're trying
a security blanket and a big target out there as Kittle is, not good.
So I think
blowout of the playoff.
Both of us are going with Seahawks.
I think this is going to be the worst game that we'll have all playoffs.
I would honestly, Texans beat Patriots, wouldn't be shocked. Bills, Broncos, wouldn't be shocked by the outcome. Bears, Rams could go either way, in my opinion. If the 49ers beat the Seahawks, I would legitimately be shocked. I just don't see a recipe for how it happens. Because again, I don't know.
It can't happen. It can't happen because then the Niners just stay home all the way to the Super Bowl. It can't happen. Seahawks have to beat them.
I mean, what is it? I guess this is why we play the games, to see what is going to happen. Before we move on to the next one, Timothy Codewell 1401 says, here's a hot take. Buffalo Bills will never win a Super Bowl. They have been around for how long and haven't even stumbled into a Super Bowl champion. Even the Bears and Jets have had rings. But again, you could have said the same thing about my Eagles before 2017. It just takes one ring, and all of a sudden, again, did you see that crazy stat where now the Texans, because they won on Monday night, have more playoff victories in their franchise's history than the Arizona Cardinals, dating back to 1899. 1899.
That's wild.
Didn't we do that insane stat where it's like the Cardinals have won 7 playoff games out of 100 seasons?
I don't know why they're still a team in Arizona.
That's crazy. But
I do like their stadium. I've been there multiple times for U.S. soccer matches.
Yeah, it's I saw WrestleMania there. Me and Hawk.
Dude, what I love about it is they also have that promenade that's right there, but right next to the
nice area.
It's a very nice area, and I really like that stadium. Multiple times, been there, great time. But I don't know what they're doing with that team. Just
Richard Bennett is back. He says having Arroyo for 10 plus snaps should open things up for JSN. The mantra is run the damn ball. Well, see, that's also the thing. The 49ers are the worst running defense in the league, and the Seahawks have this two-headed monster that went off in that first game. So
And they're
again,
going to do it again. They're going to take the ball out of Purdy's hands, and yeah, they're just going to destroy this defense that's already hurting.
Yeah, and then he also says
this has to be a blowout, and if it's not, I've already told you what I would do. I will make a arts and craft. My daughter will help me. I will make a Coach of the Year trophy, and I will personally fly out to San Francisco and give it to Shanahan.
That'd be a great TikTok. So we'll put that on our TikTok. Richard
First
Bennett
off, I need
also
money
says,
for that, so I don't know if I can afford that trip.
Just wait till
I
they
might
go
not
to
be able to. I might not be able to afford to fly back.
I'll pick you up. That'll be the other half of the TikTok. Richard Bennett says the Texans turn New England mistakes into points. Defense always travels well. I mean, that is true. We'll see.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. I told you where I thought it's going to be. I just trust Drake May a little bit better than CJ Stroud. That's all.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Being pressured and being sacked and staying composed. That's all. It's going to be close. It's going to be good.
So now last game of the week, game I could see going either way. It is the Los Angeles Rams in Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. Again, this is a game that could be a blowout. I could see the Rams blowing out the Bears. I could see the Bears
100%.
being down by 3 touchdowns and coming back. I could see any scenario.
I would not touch this game with the 10-foot
betting
pole.
wise,
betting wise, I will not touch this game. I mean, right now it is currently LA minus 3.5. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, the Bears, they are playing, and it's supposed to be really cold. I don't know what the exact weather report. My buddy who sent it to me the other day, my Bears coworker, he was saying that it's supposed to be real feel like 11 degrees out there.
Dear Lord.
It's supposed to be less than freezing. Like, it's gonna be cold as shit. How well can this pampered LA team do on that travel? We'll see. Stafford could go out there and just throw for 600 yards against this really bad defense because he's a good enough quarterback not to turn over the football. And yeah, he very well might do that. But there's also that chance that the cold just messes them up just enough, and the cardiac Bears get it done. And again, they have the Pope on their side, and they're figuring it out.
But see, the missing element in this is we've seen Stafford against the Bears a lot. We've seen Stafford is used to playing in Chicago. He played with the Lions for 10 plus years.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying there's a good possibility he throws 600 yards.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
With Adams and Nakua back. Because it seems like nothing's going to phase Puka Nakua at all.
No. And Devontae Adams, again, he just missed a bunch of games. And for the playoffs, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm just back. I'm fine. I'll just put up the numbers like I did before. It is also, the Rams are the number 1 team in the NFL at the end of the regular season for points per game. So they're scoring 30 points per game. The Bears defense is 22nd in the league in sacks and is first in the league in takeaways. So they get no pressure on you, but they're number 1 in turnover differential. So again, we've seen a couple games this year, mostly against the Panthers, where Matthew Stafford just decides to throw 2 interceptions, have a fumble, just play a weird game. If it's that type of scenario, then I think Bears win.
I guarantee you the Bears have studied that film like crazy.
Yeah. And again, the Bears, it is a skill to force turnovers. Again, that was how the Eagles won against the Chiefs that first time.
Double Puka Nakua. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, then that might be a huge, game for Devontae Adams.
Possibly, but I'd much rather Devontae going one-on-one Devontae and, taking that risk. Nakua is going to, we've already seen it so many times this year. He's reaching around players, the whole Nakua reach around we've talked about. He's reaching around players, getting the job done, So
yeah, we love a good Puka Nakua reach around.
Old Puka Nakua reach around.
We love them. But again, when you look at this game, it really comes down to Rams defense is good, not great. Bears defense is bad, not good. So then it becomes a shootout because, again, Packers defense was good, and that's why that game was a blowout in the first half. And then the Bears kind of just figured them out and made those second half adjustments. But I feel like we've seen too many teams where it's like they're called the cardiac Bears for a reason. We've seen too many teams where it's like they're 10-0 in one score games, and then they just get annihilated. And it's just like, oh, yeah, that catches up to you. Like, that is just one of those things where it's hard to keep replicating that success. And again, they did that against the Packers twice this season because they're so familiar with the Packers. I feel like this switches to the other side where it's like Matthew Stafford's played in Chicago. He's not scared of the Bears. He played for the Lions. Like, he's very familiar with the Bears. Again, last year against the Eagles, it was like this Rams team played better when it started snowing, played better when it started getting cold. So it is that thing where we thought the weather would affect the 49ers last week, and then it didn't at all. So now we're trying to base, oh, maybe the Rams get upset by the Bears, because I think it would be an upset if this Bears team beat this Rams team, especially with the division the Rams are in, where all their teams are in the divisional round. So if you're a Bears fan, how do the Bears win this game, Casino?
By praying, pretty much.
Right, with the Pope. The
Yeah,
Pope's,
just go and pray. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know what to do with these Bears. Like, they're going to have to have Stafford turn over the ball at least twice. They're going to have to at least twice, because you've seen it. Even when the Panthers beat them the first time, Stafford had a shit ton of turnovers, and they still almost won that game. So you have to have Stafford at least twice turnovers, whether it's interceptions or fumbles. It's just a given. If you don't have him turn over the football, I think there's no chance that this Bears team could beat the Rams. But yeah, we'll see. That is what it comes down to. The Bears have to get at minimum 2 turnovers on this team. If not, I don't think it's going to even be close.
Now, this is a great point. So Richard Bennett is back. He says Rams 19, Chicago 13. He also says Rams have lost 3 of their last 6. So let's look at the 3.
That is a great point. 6. That is a great point. Tom Brady even brought it up, and he was talking about it on Colin's show. And it's being prepared, and you'd much rather be, winning your last 2 going into the playoffs and riding that high, because now you don't have any issues going on. Like, you've kind of fixed everything. Going into the playoffs, that's not good. That's not good.
So the last 6 games they had, it starts with that Panthers game, which again was weird, an anomaly, until we saw in the wild card round where it was basically the same score. I mean, Panthers scored 31 in both games. The Rams were the ones that scored 1 more touchdown, and that's how they won the second time. But other than that, I really think, again, that Seahawks game, you would their divisional opponents, both games were 1 score, 1 point. One was 1 point, one was 2 points. Yeah, the last one went to OT.
Yeah, 38-37, super great game.
I say the games you look at for the Rams is you look at what the Panthers did, obviously in both those games, but you also look at what the Falcons did on that Monday night game, because again, Falcons kind of did what the Packers did last week, which is just get to this huge lead. And then the Rams were the Bears in that scenario and just started coming back, and then kind of held them off by, that Puka Nacua catch just not being ruled a catch, even though it probably should have been a catch. So if you're the Bears, you just say, hey, if we can maybe get to an early lead instead of having to do the comeback thing, like, I feel like they can hold off the Rams, especially because, again, the Rams' entire offense is, we'll try Kyron Williams like 15 times a game, and then Stafford's going to throw it 35 times a game. 20 of those passes are going Puka Nacua's way. 10 of them are going Devontae Adams' way. And then 5 of them are probably going to a tight end or a running back out of the backfield. Like, it's like we've talked about this Rams offense where it goes 99% of the balls that come out of Stafford's hands either go to Nacua or Adams. You don't really have to worry about anybody else.
Or they just want to do what they did against the Packers, where Joe Thuney and Grady Garrett, they're just in the locker room saying, hey, we were on both sides of that New England Falcons Super Bowl, and we're just going to do this again and not do that again. So
yeah, no, that's true.
That was crazy. I love that Ben Johnson at the beginning of the season brought that game up. And then apparently that's just the way they've been living the entire season is Garrett and Tooney just going in there and just be like, hey, remember that conversation? Let's go Bears. Let's go out there and win the fourth quarter.
But so again, what is it? We can talk about the Rams losing the last three of 6, but also we have to talk about the Bears last month of the season, because again, the Bears also lost to the Packers, had to come back in OT against the Packers and Malik Willis.
I'm going to kind of put those two games away, and that is the biggest rivalry in football. Okay, so like, I know it's been the Packers for decades and decades, all the way since the 80s, and they're that short stint for the Bears. But it's always been the Packers, that rivalry. So I'm not really, those games are tough. That's another reason why I don't know if I want the Pats to play the Bills, is because those games scare the shit out of me, right? They're always going to be close. And you have the same thing with your Eagles, and typically it's the Bucks, right? And the Rams. You're like, those games are always just or not the Bucks, the Rams.
I mean, kind of the Bucks too. It's kind of Bucks, Rams outside of division,
outside of division. I'm going with like just the rivalry. Those games. Every time you play them, they're really, really close.
But I think the similar game to Rams Falcons for the Bears side is that Bears 49ers Sunday night football game, because again, the Bears got everything they wanted to happen in that game, which is they won the turnover battle. They didn't turn the ball over. They got Purdy. I think they had a fumble. Purdy had an interception in that game, and they lost in a shootout 42-38 where, Caleb Williams had the ball in his hands with that pass to the end zone, then time expired. So again, you're looking at that, you go, well, Rams offense is better and their defense is better than, then the Packers defense is better, but the Rams offense is better. So you look at the two games they've lost in the last 5 or 6, however you want to do that, and you just go, oh, we can play better defense than the 49ers, and we can play better offense than the teams they lost against. So it becomes one of those things where if you're the Rams, I don't know how you're walking into this game, especially in Chicago, a place Stafford's been, again, once a year for plus 11 years of his life. Like, I'm picking the Rams, but again, if the Bears won this game in a shootout and it was like 42-38, I wouldn't be shocked, because again, I haven't seen anything from this Rams defense to be overly impressed by it.
I was leaning towards the Bears all week, and just I can't. I woke up today and I'm like, Rams are going to beat them. Just Rams are just the better team, and I think the Bears will finally they finally got to the point where they are going to lose against the better team. Just lose against the better team, because they've been right there with the teams, the Packers, right, and all that stuff. Then they're just right there all together, but the Rams are just a better team. I don't care that the Rams had struggled down the stretch. They're going to beat them. They're the better team. They got Devontae Adams back, and I just don't think the Bears are going to have enough on defense to stop Stafford, who could be the reigning MVP. I don't. I know, I know everybody was like, I actually like this because they ended up winning the game. If they would have ended up losing the game, I really think that clip of Caleb Williams on the sideline, like freaking out I don't know what he was saying, but there was a video of that where somebody broke it down. I think that comes back on him like in a huge negative way. So, because again, the whole thing with him has always been when he gets flustered in big games like this, he is never able to bounce back. So he was trying to motivate his team. He was trying to motivate his team.
I know. I'm just saying that stuff works. Again, same with the Ben Johnson stuff. That stuff all works until you start losing. And then people get tired of it. Fans, players get tired of it.
That's true.
And like Mike McDaniels get run out of town.
But it worked.
It did work. I know. But I'm saying, how long until it doesn't? But again, I would be.
I honestly think after winning that game, that gave him a few years of grace with the Bears. 100%.
Well, yeah, taking off my bias Eagles hat and just looking at these last 8 teams, I do think Bears, Seahawks, in Seattle next week is a far more interesting game, is far more fun for the league than 49ers Rams, who again are two teams we've seen in the last, what
I
is
don't
it,
want
4
that.
Super Bowls?
Don't want
Yeah.
that.
And then on the AFC side, again, I think Texans Bills is just fascinating because of how outlandish it would be. Like nobody would pick Texans to do that. And
Yeah,
then
Texans could go to their first, and the Bills could go and possibly win their first. Like, that'd be great.
And then other than that, I would say Broncos, New England would be good because of the history. And then again, Rams against
And
any
2
of their
sophomore
teams.
quarterbacks, and then it was like, who got the best deal out of that, right? That could be fun.
I don't like when it's divisional teams in the playoffs just because we've seen those matchups before. If it's Rams Seahawks again, yes, the game's going to be good, but I would also just kind of be like, I mean, we've seen it. Kind of same with Buffalo, New England. It'd just be one of those things where it's like, yeah, we've seen it,
That's
the rubber match, all that kind of stuff. Last couple comments, and then we'll get out of here. This from Tim Fitzgerald says, Texans offense isn't good enough to come into Foxborough and win a game. Stroud to turnover.
I agree. And see, I am agreeing with that, especially when the Patriots should have all of their defensive players back that they haven't had since week 11. So
he also says Pats all day with May. And then Richard Bennett says Panthers were well coached, just not deep. Not much respect, but money is plus 10 games next year. Especially in the division.
I mean, Will was high on the Panthers this year. I was like, I don't know. It's a weak division. They could, but I wasn't. I was going Bucks or even Falcons. But no, you know what? The Panthers, Bryce Young, I don't know if he's going to be the long-term guy there, but good on him for going out there and playing well. Again, short quarterbacks, they just don't do well in this league, but he's trying his damnedest, and he's doing it without going and pulling the Kyler Murray and playing COD all the rest of his life.
Also, you can
I still think that's one of the funniest stories ever. It's just that.
When we were doing the NFC South preview at the beginning of the season, I was like, did I pick the Panthers? And I went back. I did not pick the Panthers, but there was like a 10-minute stretch. Yeah, there was a 10-minute stretch of that episode where I made the case the Panthers were a playoff team. And
you made the case for them, and you said they were going to be the team to try to chase down the Bucks, which you were spot on. I thought it was going to be the Falcons, but it's funny because I'm not wrong. All three of those teams ended 8-9. So
I know.
So I love how we spent so much time on trying to figure out, if it's going to be the Bucks, and if it is the Bucks, is it going to be the Panthers or the Falcons going after them? And they all have the same fucking record. So stupid.
Yeah. That division next year, wide open.
So winnable.
Last thing says, focusing on quarterbacks, not a Montana or Brady. It is too easy to overestimate a team. It's amateur New York, LA studio talk. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I feel like, but again, Stafford, it's not because Stafford, we've seen him do this. He's always been great in the playoffs. He's just never been there with the Lions. And with this Rams team and how Sean McVay coaches, like they've already won a Super Bowl. And again,
and they almost won two.
They almost won two.
Play. Again, I watched that game. It was my Pats won that one. If Jason McCourty did not stop that pass to Brandon Cooks, the Rams, I guarantee you, would have won that game because then the Pats would have been down. They would have changed how they're going to play. Like that was a one-play game. So
also that was with Goff.
Thank you.
So that is also a sliding doors moment because if Rams win that with Goff, I don't think they trade him away for Stafford. I don't think they trade him away. Like that's a real sliding doors NFL moment. And then
in my mind, it's just the Rams. That was within.
Well, that was Sean McVay though.
Yeah, that was the 3 years with McVay. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but Stafford.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I look like an idiot more than usual. So.
But again, I also think we put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks because the quarterbacks are so game changing. Because again, the last 8 teams, would you rather have Bo Nix and CJ Stroud, or would you rather have Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen? Like it's obvious. Obvious. No matter what the defense is for both teams, you would rather have Stafford and Josh Allen. Like that's just what it is. Like we don't make the rules. That just is how it is. What is it? And then Arbe on YouTube says hi. So hi. He also said one viewer and cool. I don't know what that means. Maybe he's one viewer. I don't know. Because we've had a pretty consistent group of people watching us this whole show. So thanks for checking us out. That's going to be it for us. I was going to talk about college football today, but that game happens Monday night and we're doing a show Monday. So we can
we'll
talk about that game on Monday. But yeah, this is going to be a great weekend for sports, great divisional round, all Saturday, all Sunday. I'm just hoping for some good games. With my teams out of it, I'm just hoping for some good games.
And then look forward to, especially when these playoffs come to an end, we're going to be having some live, or not some live, but we'll having some studio shows that we'll be posting up that we plan on getting done, and getting in some other sports. We're going to get to know us a little bit better and all of our sports knowledge, which apparently I don't know much of because I forgot that it was Goff, not Stafford.
No, don't say that. Also, what is it? I've been watching
having kids blur my brain, dude. Blah.
I've been watching a lot more NBA. Watched a great Oklahoma City Thunder Spurs game last night. So we'll be talking more basketball, more NHL, all that kind of stuff.
Getting into hockey and talking about what the fucking Avalanche are doing, and it's just record-breaking historical numbers. It's stupid.
So yeah, if you like that, join. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Go check us out on Spotify. You'll now be able to watch the video version on Spotify. If you just listen to our audio on Spotify, now you can switch between, which again is a new thing. Apparently I knew nothing about Spotify, so learning about it's pretty cool.
Tell your family, tell your friends, and tell them if they just want to argue with people. Will is very excited to do so.
Yeah. Also, what is it? Shout out to our people who watch us on YouTube. Their comments are always really smart. And there was this lady yesterday was like, I just started watching football. You guys keep saying this. What does it mean? And then I explained it to her and she was like, oh, thanks. Again, night and day difference from YouTube and TikTok. YouTube is like the nicest people on the planet. TikTok is the dumbest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah,
so
TikTokers are telling me to, get off my knee glazing.
So this has been the Only Sports Podcast. We'll be back on Friday, 1 p.m. West Coast time. We'll see you right here. And then me and Casino will be back on Monday to talk about all these games. So I'm Will. That's Casino over here. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. Adios.